My name is Diego Garcia. I'm a painter, and I'm from Brentwood, Long Island, Northside. That's it. I can't help but say Northside after I say Brentwood. I was on News 12 and I actually said that. They didn't use that part for News 12. I've always had a knack for like drawing and painting and all that stuff since I was a little kid. Like, you know what I mean? You know, everyone always asks if I have like any family members or anything that draw. Not to my knowledge, at least, not really. But I think it became really serious for me on an emotional level when I started doing graffiti. I started doing graffiti when I was like 12, 13 years old. And then from there, it kind of just progressed into being really good at it, learning from it, growing from it as a person, being a part of the community, walking the train line with homies and stuff like that. All of that stuff was cool, but as I got older, it became like we would all get canvases to hit up, and I'm like, yo, let's do a theme. That's kind of where I ended up with it. And then after high school, I was gonna go to FIT. I was taking honors art classes at Brentwood High School, and then I kind of just was like, I think it's a very ambitious thing to ask a 17-year-old, 18-year-old child what they're gonna do for the next 4 to 6 years of their life, financially and with their time. I just think it's like an abstract concept that America has ass backwards, you know? But whatever, that's a whole nother conversation. So yeah, after high school, I was gonna go to FIT, I was ready to go, but I didn't out of just fear and insecurity. So I stayed local, did college for a little while, had a college professor tell me I had no artistic vision. Yeah, that was crazy. That really happened. My current exhibit right now at Muñeca Art House is called Clarity. And for me, it means a lot of things, but more importantly, it means I didn't call it clarity to impose that I have it. I didn't call it clarity to impose to the viewer that I own it, that I have it, that it exists in my life. I did it to represent the search for it. The whole show really means not necessarily having clarity, but having the will to search for it, to look for it in your own life, to find the answers that bring you clarity. Everybody's clarity is different, you know? And with that being said, to me, I know there's something specifically that I want clarity on, but I just think it's as simple as it sounds, man. I'm just looking for clarity, for a little bit of certainty, for a little bit of guidance in the sense that everything will be okay, you know? A little bit of affirmation. And that doesn't have to mean like, oh, on this date, you're gonna make $1 million and be fine. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that. It doesn't have to ever mean that. And it probably never will. Like, life doesn't work that way. I just think a little bit of clarity can mean anything as a pat on the back, a hug, or a kiss. Like, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Even though it's not. It's okay to not be okay, you know? And that's really what this show means to me, this whole idea of the dichotomy, the struggle and the tug of war between confidence and insecurity, faith and doubt. Faith and doubt are the two biggest denominators of our life. They can dictate our choices forever, and they always will. I think it's the hardest choice that we as humans have to make, is to decide whether to act in either faith or doubt. You know, like I had this idea of clarity, searching for it, feeling like being lost in the woods and having to find your way through the wilderness. So with that being said, once I said that, the whole body of work just started to make sense. I want to do these abstract knife techniques that I've done in previous shows. I want to do them vertically, so they look like trees, so they look like forests, so they look like tree bark. And that represents the kind of vast complexity of life that I see every day, that we gotta like search through. We gotta physically push stuff aside, move stuff, prioritize every single day. And that's what I wanted out of the show. Once I started doing that, I was getting it and it felt really good. The show was really dissecting the idea of like, nah, I really don't know if I'm gonna make it out today. You know, like this one's hard, you know? So with that being said, that comparison of sunshine and daytime, I said to myself, I want this show to feel nocturnal. I want this show to behave in the nighttime. I want the show to feel like a midnight run through the woods, like you're scared. I tell everybody, you know, I was playing Manhunt. You play Manhunt, like that's what I was doing with this body of work. I was scared. That same feeling I had playing Manhunt in the woods, that's how I felt playing and painting this show. I love Basquiat. I love what he did with his subconscious. I think he was just such an ambitious person to just be so innocent and mature at the same time, you know? Like he was able to paint and draw like a child, but talk about anatomy and philosophers and jazz. You know, I think that's incredible. To let your, and everyone, oh, my child could draw that way. There's all these kind of things to say about his work, but if you really think about it, how hard is it to be honest, completely honest, it's to some people impossible. And that's what I was noticing that was helping me in my work become more honest. It was helping me be more honest in my work. When at first I just started to kind of like tip my cap to JeanMichel, but then I realized how easy it was to write things, how easy it is. It's hard to say I love you, but it's real easy to write it. Fine art could be a more cultural and sociological experience, and people don't take that into consideration. When they're making it, and when they're selling it, and when they're presenting it, and promoting it, you know, it's 2019, man. There's a marriage of social media and music and culture and art and interaction. It's all one big pot of God only knows what to call it now, but we as a community should be taking advantage of that and saying, what can we do for each other through it, you know? And I don't think the art community out here does that. You know, like the Brooklyn Museum out there in the city, in Brooklyn, they do that. They have immersive shows that connect people. You know, all these little pop-up galleries in, you know, in the city or wherever else. Like there's all these places where you can get a really indulgent community experience where people are sharing and listening to music together and enjoying art together, enjoying culture together. And I just don't feel we have that. I think there's a stigma on Long Island that like, art show, okay, I got invited. It's on a Saturday. I could be drinking, but whatever, a friend invited me, so I'll go anyway, right? That's ultimately the first bad thing. People say, oh, can I turn up? Can I whatever, yada, yada, yada. I'd much rather be at a bar or, yo, homie's having a function, I could be there. I play music, I play music. We have, you know, local sponsors contributing beverages and having fun and contributing to the culture, and we have that here. Like, I don't need a party to go indulge with the homies, chop it up and hear some good music, talk to some females, talk to some friends, you know, the LGBTQ plus community. If you want to talk to a spouse, cool, bring them here. This is a loving, all-free community, man, that I don't see anybody taking advantage of, aside from the people like, you know, like Colored Colors and Manifest Media, people that have Art and Soul Sessions, people that have brought communities together through that idea that it isn't what it used to be. Make sure whatever is going on in your life that you can look past it in the benefit of faith and love.